Demi Lovato's life and career have been one wild roller coaster, full of crazy highs, low points, and moments so intense they've basically become legendary. She's also been the subject of viral memes
Hi, fatty.
and non-stop hate trains, but lately, she's been taking it all back with a way more chill, lighthearted vibe, which is totally different from how she used to handle things. So let's rewind and break down everything that brought her to this point. Glowing, thriving, and even reuniting with the Jonas Brothers in public, an iconic moment that might just mean the end of their long-running feud.
Honestly, Joe just asked me. We would love to have you come and perform This Is Me.
From rehab stints to toxic relationships to fresh starts and major growth, this is Demi's comeback story with some juicy tea on what really went down with the Jonas Brothers. Hey everyone, welcome back to Scandalous Media. It's Angela here. It's been years since I last talked about Demi on this channel, and so much has happened in that time. Whether you're a veteran reader who's followed all my tea spills on the blog, catching exclusive Demi info in real time, or an OG subscriber tuned into every breakdown from what she revealed in her brutally honest documentaries, to lyrics exposing her feuds and relationships like those with Selena Gomez and the Jonas Brothers, or scandals that have shaped her life and career like the froyo incident and her California sober journey, you know I've got the Demi Lovato lore covered like no one else. In this video, we're diving into Demi's comeback, what's working, what's not, and the fresh approach she's taking to her career that we haven't really seen before. And of course, it wouldn't be a Scandalous Media video without some inside tea in her relationship with the Jonas Brothers, from Demi confirming they stopped talking, to performing together again and even reminiscing on the good old days through the TikToks they've been posting. There's a lot to unpack, so check out the video chapters below for easy navigation. Be sure to like and subscribe for new videos every week, hit the post notifications so you don't miss our live chat premieres, and follow us on social media, especially our new Instagram, The Scandalous Media. Now without further ado, let's dive in. The Jonas Brothers fallout and reunion. If you had told me that Demi's comeback would involve reuniting with the Jonas Brothers, I would have called you a liar. The lore runs so deep, it's almost insane to think about. We had previously made a deep dive about this years ago, but it was before we narrated videos, so let me quickly fill you in. If you want a detailed deep dive with inside tea, I'll link my blog post in the description box below. Demi and the Jo Bros were super close thanks to Disney's hit movie Camp Rock, which was Demi's breakout role and also helped the brothers reach a wider audience, even though they had already released 2 albums before Camp Rock's release in 2008. After Camp Rock blew up, Demi and the Jonas Brothers skyrocketed to stardom. In 2009, Demi toured with them and supported their film release, Jonas Brothers: The 3D Concert Experience. In 2008, Demi released her debut studio album, Don't Forget, which she co-wrote with the brothers, who also produced part of it. The 4 of them were credited as the main writers on the album. Nick actually recalls how they got the role in Camp Rock before introducing Demi on the stage.
Basically, the story goes, Joe got the job, and then somehow our dad figured it out to get me and Kevin to be involved in the movie too.
After playing a few clips from Camp Rock, including Demi's, they introduced her and the crowd erupts in cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen.
So let's go back in time to what led to that moment today.
While we were on tour, Joe and Demi's relationship had become really complicated, so I was playing the bridge, and it became really good.
After Demi and Joe dated and then broke up from 2008 to 2010, Demi went to rehab and admitted that she got involved in self-destructive things, which caused her to distance herself from the brothers.
Growing closer than we'd ever been, and I remember thinking in my head, I felt like a bit of pride. I'm helping her back into, coming back to being the Demi that we all know and love, and she's not going to do anything crazy, it's going to be fine.
I couldn't believe that happened. Now it was out that I was on Adderall.
Things started to settle down after the 2-year hype following Camp Rock and Camp Rock 2, and with new competition on the scene, Justin Bieber debuting, and the Jonas Brothers' comeback plans being delayed with One Direction dominating the boy band space, the roles shifted and Demi became the bigger star. Her comeback arc with Skyscraper and the eras that followed solidified her status. Around the same time, she was in a toxic relationship with Wilmer Valderrama, who I've dragged for years. The final nail in that coffin came with Demi releasing 29, where she clearly addressed him. Now you might be wondering, what does any of this have to do with the Jonas Brothers? Everything. As Demi's career grew, she started weaving the brothers back into her projects, similar to when she first debuted. She even invited Nick to be her guest mentor on X Factor USA, which was one of their most popular seasons, the same season where Britney Spears was also a judge and Fifth Harmony was formed. Wilmer was also pretty good friends with the brothers, namely Joe, so they would party together or hang out, and I always found it sus that Wilmer was apparently up to no good, and usually with Demi's friends and exes, but they would also go on double dates together, so clearly that was their dynamic. Only Demi would go on double dates with her ex, by the way, like she genuinely cracks me up. Years later, she comes out and says something along the lines like, it's okay not to be on perfect terms with everyone and making sure everyone's happy, because she was referencing those times she was literally going on trips with the Jonas Brothers and Wilmer. Like, there's a lot of baggage there to begin with. Now, I go into more detail in my blog post, but here's the gist. Somewhere around 2014, when Nick was kind of struggling to break through as a solo act, their manager, Phil McIntyre, came up with the idea to start pushing Demi and Nick as a duo. Keep in mind that they had the same manager. Just like the Jonas Brothers invited Demi on stage in 2025, back then, Demi invited Nick to perform during her Neon Lights tour. From there, little by little, Demi became tied back in with both Nick and Joe, and the three of them were packaged together in many campaigns. It seemed like Phil used Demi's established fame to boost Nick and Joe, who were having a tough time staying relevant after the Jonas Brothers' 2013 hiatus. And then years later, Phil fully leaned into that nostalgia wave, centering the Jonas Brothers' entire comeback around it in 2019 and 2020. Oh, and remember earlier when I talked about how their fame basically switched places? Well, that really shows here. In 2014, Demi and Nick even performed Avalanche together at the Kiss FM Jingle Ball, which was kind of their duo era moment. Demi was also on good terms with Joe, and she even brought him out on her worldwide tour in October 2014 to sing their camp rock duet. By this time, Nick and Demi were basically besties. Fast forward to 2015, and Demi's hanging out with the brothers even more. Joe debuts with his new rock band DNC, dropping Cake by the Ocean, which quickly became a radio hit. Demi's already close with Nick, and now she's reconnecting with Joe, continuing to be that bond that ties the brothers to her boyfriend at the time, Wilmer. Apparently, Joe first met Wilmer through Demi back in 2010. They weren't exactly BFFs in 2011, though they did pose together at events. It wasn't until 2015 that a genuinely close relationship formed, and by December 2015, they were all going on group vacations together. 2016 is the year of Demi and Nick because Demi and Wilmer finally broke up that June, even though it all seemed perfect on the outside, but not in the world of Scandalous Media because any chance I got to drag Wilmer, I took it. Y'all know me. Anyway, Demi released her Confident album in 2015, and instead of going on a solo tour for that album, both she and Nick announced a joint tour called the Future Now Tour, which ends up being Demi's 5th headlining tour and Nick's 3rd. Nick was touring for his album Last Year Was Complicated, but it looked like the tour leaned heavily on Demi. His album dropped only 2 weeks before the tour, so clearly it relied on Demi's star power and commercial success of the Confident album that was released the year before. At this point, Demi and Nick were everywhere together, from photo shoots, performances, interviews, everything, and they were pretty much a power couple without being a couple. It was iconic. Demi also supported Joe and DNC, which despite their 1 or 2 hit songs, their album as a whole underperformed, but the more the merrier when it came to Demi, because there she was, performing with them, hanging out with them, doing interviews with them, and so on. You think she was their manager. DNC and Demi's appearances continued up until 2017, where she's literally scheduled to play a JBL concert with them. During this time, Joe continued maintaining a really close relationship with Wilmer, even after Wilmer and Demi's breakup. Toward the end of 2017 is when things start to get a little murky with the Jonas Brothers and Demi. Demi released her album Tell Me You Love Me, which includes a special little song on there called Ruin the Friendship, a song that's believed to be about Nick. I mean, after doing all that with someone, one is bound to catch feelings, especially after getting out of a toxic relationship where you were never treated right. Check out my video breaking down what Demi's lyrics exposed about that situation. Demi and Nick could only be described as a situationship, and in true Demi fashion, she put that situationship on blast when she released Ruin the Friendship. When asked about the song, Demi said,
I probably will never say who Ruin the Friendship is
You're
about.
literally doing an I'll never tell.
And I'll never tell.
But little did she know, fans had already decoded her lyrics.
Who did you guys think it was? RTF, Nick Jonas.
To which Demi hilariously reacts,
She was like, literally dead on.
it was such a big fan theory that Nick was even asked about it, to which he said, "We're artists, we have to write about things that are relevant to us and real, you know? It's my way of processing my feelings and emotions. I think for me, to then question somebody else's freedom to do that would be wrong." Demi was even asked about it on Ellen, and before Ellen could even get the question out, she is literally giggling and smiling.
I'm told to ask these questions. I don't care. I don't. But supposedly there's a song about Nick Jonas in here. Because you just claim to be so honest, I feel like you should be honest.
She tries to dodge the question, saying that she doesn't think anyone cares.
Well, you don't care, so.
I don't care, but they do. I mean,
I don't think they do.
Yes, no, they do. They
No,
really
I don't
do.
think they-
Yeah.
She doesn't deny or confirm who the song was about, but she does say this.
Something that I will always keep to myself is who I write my songs about.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the whole time, she can't keep a straight face.
So it's probably about him, and then
Another song on the album that is rumored to be about Nick is Only Forever, because she sings, "I've been thinking about the future, I've been thinking about the now." Anyway, it all goes to hell when Nick pops up engaged and married to Priyanka Chopra, who were coined the Hollywood PR couple of the time by literally every single source I spoke to. But how do you guys feel about Nick and Priyanka? Here's where things take a turn for even worse. In July 2018, Demi suffered a near-fatal OD. Honestly, it's a genuine miracle that she's still here, especially considering all the details she revealed in her Dancing with the Devil documentary. I actually covered her docuseries, so if you want to dive deeper, I'll link my videos. Meanwhile, Nick is moving full speed ahead with Priyanka, and Demi isn't at any of the events. Joe eventually marries Sophie Turner, and well, we all know how that turned out. It's believed that Demi felt abandoned, not just because the Jonas Brothers were close with her toxic ex, but also because they weren't there for her after her OD. She even liked a post that said, "Whoever left Demi last year, don't come back now. Y'all left her at a hard time in her life. Who does that? Real friends don't. I hope she exposes every one of y'all." On top of that, she fell out with her management team, the same team that also managed Jonas Brothers, which was interesting because it always felt like they mismanaged Demi.
People around me that were really policing my food intake and the things that I was eating, so I was miserable and I snapped.
She actually had to go to Jay-Z for support to make Sorry Not Sorry the lead single instead of Tell Me You Love Me. And look at it now. Sorry Not Sorry isn't just one of Demi's biggest hits, it's one of the biggest hits out there. And in comparison, Phil, their manager, was booking the Jonas Brothers for all the prime spots for their comeback tour, which was fueled by nostalgia, a concept that Demi finally understands works. Of course, Demi later exposed everything in true Demi fashion. She opened up about how her team put her through hell, even claiming her sober coach manipulated her.
At that moment, I was fully intending to drop her.
She went as far as liking posts that accused them of blackmailing and abandoning her right alongside everyone else who walked away. Demi liked a lot of posts about how the brothers chose Wilmer over her, and if they were true friends, they would have stuck up for Demi instead of pretending she never existed. Looking back at all this now, I honestly think what hurt Demi the most wasn't their rumored situationship with Nick, it was feeling completely abandoned by them when she needed support the most.
The most important thing to Demi is losing people that she cares about and that loves her.
What do you guys think? When she made her comeback with I Love Me, she hinted at her fallout with the brothers by featuring 3 figures dressed like them in the music video, walking right past them as a powerful symbol of reflecting on and moving beyond her past. And when asked if she talks to the Jonas Brothers anymore in 2020, she shakes her head no. In my blog post from 5 years ago, I made it clear that I don't see Nick and Joe as villains while Demi was some flawless saint. She was going through a lot, and honestly, that alone was probably tough for anyone around her to handle. But at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that Demi consistently showed up for them, and they didn't exactly return the favor, especially when they were number one and they were dominating everywhere. Maybe it just didn't register with them? I don't know. With this iconic reunion, fans noticed that Demi didn't tag Nick on Instagram at first, instead only tagging the Jonas Brothers account, Joe, and Kevin. She eventually tagged Nick, as you can see here though. But now, all is good. Demi revealed that it was Joe who asked if she'd be down to perform with them.
Honestly, Joe just asked me, last week, was like, hey, what are you doing next weekend or on the 10th? we would love to have you come and perform This Is Me and wouldn't change a thing.
Demi's in such a healed place now, honestly the best we've seen her in years. She's not just glowing on the outside, but you can really tell it's coming from within too. I genuinely think she's finally confident in herself, and being in a secure marriage has done wonders for her mental health, and this is something she is now saying.
It's just years of therapy. Like, I'm in therapy once a week. Without fail, I have been for probably 7 years now, once a week. I've put in a lot of work and I've healed a lot of my inner child. Oh, you're glowing or this or that is like, one, I'm in love. Yeah. But two, it's like, I've done the work.
She's also very different now, and I mean that in the best way possible. I know somebody out there is itching to say, but how do we know this is real when she's admitted to lying before but being confident and being okay? Well, here's the tea. I never bought into the fake image Demi tried to sell back then. You can go and read my posts. I always clocked when something felt off. And let's not forget, I had inside tea that she wasn't actually sober when she claimed she was, which she later confirmed herself when she dropped sober in 2018. So trust me when I say, I've got it on good authority that this time really is different. And this all has to do with Demi shifting something inside of her. Ready to hear what that is? How Demi bounced back. Road to redemption. Demi is now taking a lighthearted approach to life. She's learning how to finally let go and have fun after what felt like 2 decades of a struggle.
This era for me is, I'm not taking myself too seriously. I started writing like really emotional songs and it just wasn't resonating because I'm not in that place anymore. Like, I'm not in a bad place in my life where I need to write these really intense emotional songs.
For the longest time, Demi's life and career were defined by her struggles, whether it was her body image, toxic relationships, mental health battles, or substance abuse. And all of that inevitably took a toll on her career to the point where people started feeling like they couldn't really relate to her anymore. What is it about Taylor Swift that makes her so popular? Everyone can somehow relate to her. There's an ongoing saying that Taylor has a lyric for every single situation, and she's able to put into words experiences that people don't know how to describe. Demi doesn't get any credit for her writing skills or incredible heart-wrenching lyrics because she has always led with the bad first, and even though that worked at one point, take Skyscraper for example. But when you release something ultra-specific like Dancing with the Devil, Melon Cake, California Sober, not only are those heavy themes that aren't under any umbrella of relatability, but it's also stuff that feels way too personal for the average listener to connect with. So instead of thinking, that's my life, people end up thinking, that's Demi's life. And it's like, how many times are we gonna hear this story from Demi? This is something Demi has realized this era.
I took a different approach with my writing. Like, I've normally always written from, like, it has to be authentic. I had to, like, if I mentioned a date in the song, it had to be real. Yep. And so I was running out of topics and I was like, what if I just make stuff up and, like, have fun and, like, write from a fictional point of view?
Every artist struggles, and chances are your faves have had their own battles with substance abuse too. But what turned people off with Demi was how much it became the center of everything.
And you know what? It. I'm just gonna say it.
I had so many issues underneath that needed to be taken care of.
I was on Adderall.
I stayed clean, kind of, like wasn't doing drugs, but was drinking a lot.
And taking edibles, sometimes 300 milligrams at a time.
I felt out of control with the coke the first time that I did it.
I was very heavily using.
So I started experimenting for the first time when I was 12.
I crossed a line that I had never crossed in the world of addiction.
I got no excuses.
I lost my virginity in...
I don't drive anymore because I have blind spots in my vision. So, like...
From the overdose?
Yes.
Can we turn the cameras on?
She was constantly talking about it, and at some point, that actually works against your healing because now everyone's tuned into every step forward and every setback. And as we all know, healing isn't linear, but the industry and people in general can be shallow, and not everyone is willing to understand that, which is exactly what happened with Demi. You don't owe the internet hourly updates. And that's exactly why this era works for Demi. She's putting out fun, light, happy music because that's where she's at in life right now. The heavy, loaded lyrics and angry rock edge, that's just not her anymore.
It matches my mood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels like authentic to where I'm at right now. So like, I'm just gonna chase that, and I did.
Demi used to drop some of the most gut-wrenching ballads, songs that felt like they punched you right in the stomach.
I'm so sorry, I'm not sober anymore.
I'd listen to them and end up depressed for her. I mean, tracks like Shouldn't Come Back, Father, Stone Cold, Fix a Heart. Honestly, I don't know if anyone in pop made sadder music. For this new era, she's leaning into sexier, pop-driven tracks that let the vibe of the song carry more weight instead of relying solely on powerhouse vocals. That's what made Fast such a different moment for her. It's catchy, sleek, and shows a side of Demi that's about energy and mood rather than just belting out lyrics. It's a refreshing pivot, and it feels like she's finally combining the star power and the emotional depth we love with a modern, strategic approach that actually fits today's music landscape. The cool thing about Demi is that her authenticity and real-life experiences are what make her stand out from her peers. She doesn't need to rely on PR stunts or shock value. Her life is already wild enough to provide plenty of substance. She's always gone viral, whether it's for her memes, which she is now fully capitalizing on.
And if I were to ask you what your favorite dish is right now, what would you say?
A mug.
Or her voice and sense of humor. It just comes naturally to her. A big turning point that made her career dip and low-key ruined everything was the froyo scandal. Because it's one thing if you have your mental breakdown in your room with your two friends, but it's another thing when you have it in front of the whole world. In 2021, Demi went viral after calling out a small LA frozen yogurt shop, The Big Chill, for promoting what she described as diet culture through sugar-free and low-calorie options. She posted on Instagram that walking into the store was triggering for someone with an ED and urged the shop to do better. What Demi probably thought would spark an important conversation about diet culture quickly backfired. The froyo shop responded publicly, explaining that their sugar-free items were meant to accommodate people with diabetes, celiac disease, and other dietary restrictions, not to promote diet culture. The fallout was immediate. Many people accused Demi of punching down at a small business rather than raising awareness in a constructive way. Online, it turned into a meme storm, with Demi becoming the butt of jokes and criticism. This marked a low point in Demi's public image because it reinforced a perception that she was overly combative or quick to publicly call things out. It overshadowed her music releases and ongoing advocacy work. It became a turning point where some fans and media started to view her less as a resilient survivor and more as someone constantly caught in controversy. It derailed the narrative of Demi's comeback at the time, making it harder for people to take her seriously and fueling the hate trains she's been subject to for years. Someone had to genuinely check up on me because I love Demi and I couldn't believe what she was doing.
This is really embarrassing for me.
That was really the last time Demi had everyone's attention, and unfortunately, that's where most people froze her in their minds. Even though it's been 4 years since the froyo scandal and she's done so many cool things in that time, a lot of the general public still only remembers that version of Demi. So she trolled herself and not only went back to The Big Chill, but bought all her fans froyo and posted TikToks about the situation.
I left that yogurt store and didn't get the yogurt that I wanted.
She even captioned one saying, "You look happier. Thanks, I finally got the yogurt that I wanted." I mean, this is the way to come back after a controversial couple of years. That's why leaning into the nostalgia factor was such a smart move, and why Joe asking her to perform with the Jonas Brothers came at the perfect time. For so many people, especially the casual fans who used to stan her but tuned out after the scandal, this reunion was the first time they'd seen Demi again in years, and it was quite the first impression. And it also tapped perfectly into the nostalgia wave her peers have been riding and cashing in on, something Demi herself hadn't really taken advantage of until now. And the best part? She didn't even go chasing after it. It was Joe who picked up the phone and asked her to join them. The thing that sets Demi apart is that she's always reinventing herself without running an idea into the ground. You just know she's not going to pop up with the Jonas Brothers every few months to milk the nostalgia. When asked if fans can expect more reunions like the one at their show, she said, "Yes, I would love to do more, but I think it's a delicate balance, right? It's not that I want to live in the past, I want to highlight it, acknowledge it, and appreciate it, but not live in it." What's really exciting about this new era is how smart she's being with her marketing. For the first time, she's leaning into a Gen Z approach, actually using TikTok to tease her music and build anticipation, something she's never done before. Keep in mind that she has a whole new team now. In the past, Demi would drop a full song or a music video on Twitter or Facebook and disappear, like she did with Melon Cake and Still Have Me. But now, with her teasing and taking her time, fans are hyped, rushing her online saying "let's go," but they don't realize that she isn't just posting randomly, she's taking the time to tease snippets, viral sounds, and moments on TikTok, letting the hype build organically before the full release. And when you guys asked me for new Demi tea in March, I wrote, she's been working on it for well over a year. There's a lot of hope and excitement surrounding this era with new management, new ideas, and overall a happy Demi. She's taking a different approach of not rush releasing something and instead building a relationship with her audience, again, hence the TikToks. And that's what we see today. That's the strategy that works today, and Demi is finally embracing it. At the end of the day, Demi's glow up isn't just about personal growth or mending old relationships. It's about mastering the business side of being a pop star in 2025. From TikTok trends to smart teasing to songs that balance vocal talent with a modern pop sound, Demi is showing she can evolve and thrive while still being completely herself. And honestly, this is just the beginning of what feels like a very intentional, very exciting new chapter for her. Well, that's all for this video. This is my first video about Demi in 3 years, so if you guys want more Demi coverage, let me know. You already know, nobody's gonna cover her like I do. I hope you guys enjoyed. What do you think about her reunion with the Jonas Brothers and Demi's new era and new approach to things? I'll link some tea-filled Demi posts in the description box for you to catch up. Be sure to like and subscribe for new videos every week. Put those post notifications on so you don't miss the live chat premiere we do for every single video. Follow us on our social media, and as always, I'll see you next time.